Up next is fire. There we go. All right, left and right again. Pretty simple. Let's look at the clock. Oh, wait, let's start the timer. All right. Let's look at the timer. Are you saving babies or children? All right. We got to take the kids to the ambulance. Actually, a lot of these games are kind of similar now that I think about it. A lot of them are timing based. You will definitely see why this one gets harder, though. No, don't worry. This one actually does get more interesting. I don't know if I've played the original Fire. I don't think this was on the DS. This was only variations were on it on the, whoops, sorry, blocking the mic if you heard that. Variations of it were on the, Game & Watch galleries, but I don't remember one looking quite like this. Okay, I thought this one got more interesting than this. Better not prove me wrong, game. That better not just be the difference between game mode A and B. Because if this is all game mode A is, this is extremely trivial. Oh, shoot. So where this gets interesting is you'll notice the second bounce doesn't actually go as high as the first bounce. So it's not as obvious as just going one to the other. Sometimes you have to switch it up. And yes, if you didn't catch what I was saying, this is the first part of Game & Watch's Up B, where the two guys appear at the bottom and spring him upwards. That was kind of close. So you'll notice now there's going to be a bigger gap between this and that one. Even though it was closer on the first two bounces. I don't know if Game Mode B will add it, but what they did differently in Game & Watch galleries, as we'll eventually see, is that there are actually different types of things coming out of buildings, and they each bounce different heights based on what they were. So, like, one thing bounced really low. Ah, there's bodies everywhere. Are they all, like, taking a while to get to the window, or are they all just waiting in a line? And eventually they're like, okay, these guys are actually pretty good. I think we can jump out more frequent than this. Listening for that bop sound is key. Because then you can move right after you hear it. See, it's gotten a little more interesting than the very beginning. I can't remember if the two modes of judge are... I feel like one of them might be two players, so I don't know what I'll do for that. Maybe I'll have to pull in Dr. Bop again. Oh man. You guys jumped out really close to each other. I don't know why there's something slightly amusing to me about seeing all the bodies just flying in the air. These games actually require a surprisingly high amount of attention from you. There's a thing on OBS, I don't know why it's so busted. It tells you how long you've been streaming for, but it always freezes for me at a certain point. It never works. Like right now it says I've been streaming for 1 hour and 15 minutes. I know that's not true. Ooh, I almost did the timing there wrong. Oh, shoot. Oh, does it show you a proper time? Okay, that was a little scary. Pop. Pop. Did you know this is how firemen actually rescue people? They don't just catch people once and be done with it. They actually bounce them around all the way into the ambulance. The nastiest thing is when you have to go quickly from far left to far right. That was always the hardest thing for me on the Game & Watch galleries. This one's a little bit slow. Like, this one is still good. The timing aspect of it is still kind of there. It is a little bit slower paced than Vermin, which I don't like as much. However, the variability of like the way they bounce does make for it a little bit more interesting. Not variability, but like the fact that each bounce is different makes you have to. It's a little harder to. It's a little more challenging than Vermin, which just has which mole's popping up next. You can see with the dots. Ooh, almost did that wrong. I think these guys are actually on the stage too, right? You can jump on them and they bounce you. Randomly, the diver guy's there, but that's a different Game & Watch, and we'll get to that one later. Ooh, this is gonna be tricky. Up, up. Okay, we're good. It's nice when you get that last bounce. You still see them for a bit, but you don't have to worry about them anymore. What is the most I've had on screen at once? Has it always just been 3? I wonder what sort of computation is behind these games, actually. And are these randomly generated, or are these presets? I don't actually know. Oh man, that's a lot of bodies. That's a little scary. I wasn't sure. Doesn't look like they're going above 3 ever at once. Even when they're hopping into the ambulance. Kind of waits for me to finish them before the next batch comes out. Oh, shoot. And I made it to 100. Now do I just let them drop so I can keep moving on? I should probably go as far as I can. Oh, they've gone back to simple. Fantastic. How much more exciting? Do you like seeing it with the whole Game and Watch thing around it, or is that too much? I kind of like it. It also gives you an idea of what the actual hardware looked like, too, because it looks weird when it's just the game. It's literally just the black on a white background. This even kind of makes it look more like the actual screen. I thought you could, but I'm not sure. You definitely, if you did just the raw emulation, you definitely don't see that without the art. The art doesn't change that, or doesn't remove that. You could try to find a real a video of someone actually playing the real Game and Watches. Ultimately, though, it does seem like Vermin was harder than this, probably because it was faster paced. I mean, I guess I haven't gotten nearly as high of a score, but time-wise, I've been playing this for much longer. Oh, I looked away. That's what I get for getting distracted. He died! Look, you see him as a little angel. I don't remember that from the I think they just got mad on the Game and Watch Gallery version. I still don't know whether the Game Watch Gallery games count as Game & Watch games or Mario games. Or both. A fusion of the two. In the Game & Watch Gallery versions, at certain points, you actually would get lives back, but I don't know. I don't think they did that in the originals. Oh! What? I did that one in the wrong order, and it actually still gave it to me. Guess it's a little forgiving. Unless that was the right order, and I spaced out and got lucky. Ooh. So, uh, you guys like stuff? I'm trying to think of a conversation starter. This one's pretty slow moving. Hey, you don't feel guilty about that. I'm like always doing other things when I watch other people stream. Some people like dedicated watch people stream, like that's all they do. But I'm definitely someone who likes to watch people stream while I'm doing something else, while I'm playing another game or things like that. I'm getting a little hungry though. The sad part is I'm only at like 159 too. It's just again kind of slow paced. Doesn't necessarily make it bad, but makes it a little less exciting, I guess. So maybe that does. I mean, it's not as good. No, from a distance, if you squint your eyes, they kind of just look like spiders floating around in the air. Yeah, it doesn't really seem like it's getting harder, huh? Maybe I should just start dropping them. I got to my 100. I mean, if they start speeding it up more, it would get harder. Oh, shoot! Oh, I saved him. Darn. I mean... Phew. Glad I saved him. So when I was in another stream, they were talking about whether or not Nintendo switching just to making one console at a time is a good idea or not. And I had the same thought initially. When they first made the Switch, I was like, won't this just mean a decrease in sales in the end? Because when you've got two hardware units, you're generally getting people buying, or you often let people buying both. You got people buying a console and you got people buying a handheld. Seems like you'd be losing out on sales if you switch to just one. I don't know if that'll still be a long-term effect if they keep doing it. But the Switch itself has been very good for Nintendo. Like, they've been more profitable than almost they've ever been. The Wii era was their other big profit era. And they had the Wii and the DS, to be fair. And both of those were selling really well. But I think even... There was a year, the Switch, I think it was when COVID hit, which is probably partly why, where Nintendo had literally their best year ever. They made more money than any other year. But, like, the Switch itself has sold more than the 3DS and Wii U combined. And it sold more than the GameCube and Game Boy Advance combined. So, like, at least the Switch itself... They haven't struggled at all. I guess the concern is maybe they're putting too many eggs in one basket. So what happens if they release another console that doesn't do well? But then part of me thinks, like, as long as there's a handheld component to it, it's always going to do well. Honestly, I think that's part of Switch's big success. Is that you've got that portability aspect. And personally, I love being able to switch between the two. It's so nice to be able to play on a big TV when you want it, but you can just take it anywhere. And I've said before, a hidden thing I liked about it is being able to go to like someone else's place who has a Switch or has a dock, and you just need to bring your Switch and plop it in their dock, and it works. It's funny, I see people argue, like Wikipedia, I think, currently actually still puts the Switch as part of the previous gen for some reason, along with the Wii U. And said the next gen didn't start until the Xbox Series S and X, as well as PS5. But I don't know. I don't see why it wouldn't be part of this gen. Especially considering I feel like this gen has gotten a decent age to it already. Almost at 3 years or something already, and the Switch is still in it. I mean, I guess it did come out during like the middle. You could also argue that gens are a dying concept. We shouldn't necessarily have to tie releases to gens, console releases. You could also argue that the Switch is in a generation of its own because the handheld generations were always considered separate than console generations. So, like, the console generations generally didn't consider DS and stuff like that. So you could say the Switch is in the hybrid generation. Actually, if anything, it coincided more with the handheld refresh. And then, you could almost argue it's just the next part of their handheld generation. And they've left the quote-unquote console gens. Really, I'm more of a I would more probably say it's either in its own thing or it doesn't matter anymore. Like, the concept is not really needed. Because the generations used to signify often significant changes in hardware. And I feel like we're just not getting that anymore. Like, yeah, there's jumps, but there's really nothing that different in the past few generations, really. Ah! Where'd you come from? Ah! I looked away. That was part of my problem. I looked away and thought I was safe. I didn't see a person come out of the building. The best thing is, there's going to be another version of this game for the widescreen Game & Watch, and to be honest, I'm not sure how different it actually is. Personally, like, I know some people want Nintendo just to make hardware that's, like, at the same level as other consoles. But hey, at that point, I don't know. I guess some people just like their brands, but I've always said if I stopped getting Nintendo consoles, I'd probably just stick to PC, because I don't see a strong reason to get a lot of the other consoles over a PC. So I guess a big part... Oh, shoot, we've switched to 4, guys. Have we had that before? Oh, shoot, this is getting more complicated. Oh, shoot! Okay. Make it more difficult. Took it long enough. Alright. Have to give it a bit more attention than I was before. I almost did that too early. I thought I did for a second. Okay, the bass is kicking up. Took it long enough. I still haven't even done Game Mode B yet. Anyway, what I'm saying is, part of me is like, part of me likes that Nintendo tries different things, you know? It doesn't always work. And sometimes you're left with unfortunate harder to maintain historically. Like, how do you make Wii U games or DS games in the future without a second screen? But at the same time, I don't know. There's some really cool things that come out of it. Like, I love the Switch now. I love being able to have both. I'm glad they did it. I don't really want a Nintendo console not to have it now. Like, if I didn't have a Switch, like, if Nintendo went under, there's a good chance I'd get something like the Steam Deck for the same reason. Like in the portability. My headset just turned off again for no reason. Alright, this might kill me. Makes me wonder if for some reason it's like these sounds are so consistent that it's not registering them as new sound. That seems kind of stupid though. Well, we've reached 300, meaning it's gonna get easier again for a bit. This is gonna be one of my longer games just because I'm not dying as quickly. Do you remember that mini game in Super Mario 64 DS with the faces, and how one time I had a really incredible streak and got like, I almost got to the maximum points I seem to remember, but I don't remember if I actually made it. I just like could not lose. I became one with the game. And there was that spit blob on the screen. No, I thought that was the pipe one. That wasn't the one where you're trying to find the face. The one where you're trying to find the face is the one that I had a really good score on. And that was during the day. I think the one you're talking about was during the middle of the night. Oh shoot, I almost messed up. Do you still have my copy of You still call that a pipe? Why not? I was looking at the chat too much. Rip. Okay. On to game mode B. Let's just hope it's harder. So far it does not look any different. Maybe faster? Is it more zoomed in, or am I imagining things? I think I'm imagining things. I don't see any difference. Did I push the right button? Hang on. I am for sure doing game mode B, right? Anyone want to look up what the difference is with game mode B in this one? Amita lotteries? What are? That minigame with the pipes? Or are you talking about something else entirely? Okay, that started sooner than last time. I seem to remember, well, maybe not. I seem to remember it took longer for me to start seeing more people. They would then go down the lines, then just, yeah. Okay, so that whole type of concept. This seems harder so far. Seems like they're just dropping more dudes. Which in theory makes it actually move faster. Stop sending these long messages. I can't read them fast enough. It is that one person writes the path. Covers it. And someone else picks one of the paths. It's a way to randomly select something. Couldn't you just do pick a hand, any hand? And I've decided which one it is. I guess it doesn't quite work for multiple paths, so does it? Or, wait, no, like, all you... Okay, no. Let's say you have 4 things. You write down on a piece of paper, or a rock. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You flip them upside down. You shuffle them when the person has their back turned. They select one. And ta-da! Randomness. I think this is just harder. I think they're dropping more bodies. What do you mean by randomly generated permutation? My brain is just too tiny. Could you just randomly select more rocks? Flip them over? Not randomly, but could you just select more rocks if you needed it? A way of matching up n options with other options. Yeah, I guess I see. But is it any more useful than the rock example I gave? Ooh. And technically, you're matching the top of the rock as a path with the bottom of the rock, or with its result. That's still sort of n options with n results. They're just all extremely simple. I mean, a form of what you're talking about would be just straight lines. It still falls under it. Is there a Mario Party minigame where you're like quickly scanning up one of those things? And you have to select the one that you think the treasure is in? Or that'll lead you to the treasure? Oh, almost failed there. This one's definitely a little more exciting. Still a little slow, but better. I prefer this mode. Oh! I need to stop getting distracted. Oh! I need to at least get to 100. It's related to bubble sort. Alright, I'm done looking at you till I get to 100. I looked anyway. And I didn't get enough information out of it. Whoa! All these little spider boys flying around. This is definitely just more dudes than before. They're dropping more at once. Oh, there's so many bodies. It's like playing tricks on my eyes. Oh, I just realized you only get the point once they make it into the hospital thing. In the version in Game & Watch Gallery, they gave it to you for every bounce, I'm pretty sure. That's when they give you the points. No wonder it moves so slow. Come on, I just want to get to 100. If I fail now, I'm going to cry. You're still writing stuff. Don't distract me. Ah! Oh, that was so close. I thought he was in for some reason, so I didn't think I had to worry about him. I'm so close. I can do this. Yes, I made it to 100. Okay. I can relax a little. This one's way harder than the other difficulty. I like this one a lot more. Yeah, see, there's 5. I wasn't even barely reaching 4 till I got to like 300. Oh, hey, there's someone new there. I'll answer your question in a second. This is just becoming very hard to focus on 2 things at once. Is this running through some sort of emulator? Yeah. Oh, I messed up. Oh, well. I got to my 100. I'm satisfied. Yep. MAME, if you're interested. MAME is typically used for arcades, but it also does Game & Watch games. All right. That is game. Oh, stop the timer.